What would you do if the sun became your predator? Not a lion, not a wolf, not a spear in the dark. Just heat, silent heat. Heat that follows you. Heat that touches every part of your skin. Heat that drinks your sweat before you understand you are dying. Now imagine you are an ancient human. You have no air conditioner, no cold bottle, no fan, no shade nearby. Only open land, only burning ground, only the white sky above you. Your first instinct is simple. Take everything off. Expose your skin. Let the wind touch you. That sounds right. That sounds natural. That sounds like survival. But it may be the wrong answer. Because in the ancient world, the people who survived the worst heat did something that looks insane today. They covered themselves. They wrapped their bodies. They wore long cloth. They wore loose robes. They sometimes wore dark fabric under a brutal sun. And somehow, they lived. The false answer is that less clothing always means more cooling. The deeper reveal is stranger. Under the right conditions, the smartest ancient fabric could keep a human cooler than being almost naked. This was not fashion. This was not decoration. This was survival engineering. Long before modern science, long before synthetic sportswear, long before the word thermodynamics, ancient people were building wearable cooling systems from plants, air, sweat, and shadow. And the terrifying part is this. We may need that forgotten knowledge again. Because when the power fails, when the grid dies, when the heat wave sits over the city like a stone lid, your body becomes ancient again. Your survival depends on the same rules that protected humans thousands of years ago. The sun does not care how modern you are. It only cares how fast it can cook you. To understand the secret, we need to go back. Not to a shopping mall, not to a gym, not to a modern clothing brand. We need to go to the heat, to the river valleys, to the deserts, to the dry wind, to the ancient people who had no choice but to learn. Picture an Egyptian farmer. The Nile is nearby, but the field is open. The sun is high, the air shimmers, his back burns, his throat dries. Every movement costs water. Every mistake brings weakness. If he loses too much sweat, his blood thickens, his muscles fail, his thoughts slow. Heat does not kill like a blade. It confuses first, then it weakens. Then it takes the body apart from the inside. So this farmer needs more than courage. He needs a system. And one of his greatest tools is not bronze, not stone, not a weapon. It is linen, white linen, simple linen, plant fiber pulled from flax, soft enough to wear, strong enough to last, light enough to move in. At first, linen looks too ordinary to be a survival technology. That is the trick. Primitive does not mean simple. Primitive often means tested by death. If a fabric failed, people suffered. If it trapped heat, people collapsed. If it held sweat too long, people slowed down. But linen survived as a favorite in hot ancient lands because it did something the body desperately needed. It helped sweat escape. Sweat is not just wetness. Sweat is a cooling weapon. Your body pushes water onto your skin. That water steals heat as it evaporates. Every drop that turns into vapor carries body heat away. That is your built-in air conditioner. But there is a problem. Sweat only works if it can leave. If sweat is trapped against your skin, the system fails. You become wet, sticky, hot. Your skin sits inside a swamp. Your body keeps sweating, but less heat escapes. That is where linen mattered. Linen could absorb moisture without feeling heavy too quickly. It could pull sweat away from the skin. It could release that moisture into the air faster than many heavier fabrics. It allowed air to move. It helped evaporation happen. So the cloth did not just cover the body. It worked with the body. It turned sweat into cooling. This is the first ancient lesson. Your enemy is not clothing. Your enemy is trapped heat. Your enemy is trapped moisture. Your enemy is dead air sitting on your skin. Ancient people understood this through pain, through labor, through walking, through burying those who did not adapt. They did not need a lab to know which cloth helped them endure. The desert was the lab. The sun was the test. Survival was the result. But linen was only half the secret. The bigger mystery is shape. Because the ancient solution was not tight. It was not stretched against muscle. It was not designed to show the body. It was loose. It moved. It floated. It created space. And that space was everything. Modern humans often believe clothing works like a second skin. Ancient hot climate clothing worked more like a shelter. A loose robe creates a gap between fabric and flesh. That gap is not empty. It is a moving layer of air, a private atmosphere, a tiny climate around the body. When sunlight hits the outside of the robe, the fabric takes the attack first. The skin is spared direct radiation. The cloth becomes portable shade. That sounds useful, but the deeper trick happens inside. The air between the robe and the body warms up. Warm air rises. As it rises, it escapes through openings near the neck, sleeves, and upper edges. Then cooler air is pulled in from below. A slow vertical current begins. The garment breathes, the body vents, the robe becomes a chimney, a walking tower of airflow. This is why ancient and traditional desert clothing can look strange to modern eyes. We see more fabric, we think more heat, but the ancient body feels something different. Shade above the skin, air moving over sweat, hot air rising away, cooler air entering below. Each step pumps the system. Each breeze strengthens it. The robe becomes a bellows. The person becomes the engine. This is the false answer and deeper reveal again. The false answer says skin must be exposed to cool down. The deeper reveal says exposed skin can become a solar target. In dry, brutal heat, bare skin may lose water too fast. It may burn. It may heat under direct radiation. It may force the body to spend sweat like a desperate currency. A loose garment can slow that attack. It can protect the skin. It can save moisture. It can keep airflow alive. It can make sweat more useful. Now think about what this meant for ancient survival. A person who understood clothing could walk farther, work longer, think clearer, carry water better, hunt longer, trade longer, escape danger longer. In a hot land, that difference could decide who lived. Clothing was not just culture, it was endurance, it was migration, it was labor, it was empire. It was the difference between collapsing at noon and reaching shade before night. And this is where modern humans become strangely weaker. We have machines now, so we forget body wisdom. We build glass towers, we seal rooms, we wear tight shirts, we wear plastic fibers. We depend on cold air from walls. Then the grid flickers, the fan slows, the room warms, the old rules return. Suddenly, the ancient farmer may know more than us. Look at modern summer clothing. A tight cotton shirt clings to the body. It absorbs sweat. Then it stays wet. It becomes heavy. It presses moisture against the skin. A tight synthetic shirt may wick sweat in one situation, but it can trap odor, trap heat, feel clammy, block the relaxed airflow your body needs during long heat exposure. Shorts and tank tops feel free at first, but in harsh sun, they expose more skin to radiation. The body must defend every exposed inch. More sweat is demanded. More water is lost. The sun keeps taking. The modern answer is often comfort for 10 minutes. The ancient answer was survival for hours. This does not mean everyone should wear ancient robes everywhere. It means the principle matters. Breathable fabric, loose fit, air gap, shade, evaporation, movement. These are not old ideas. They are human ideas. They are older than brands, older than machines, older than cities. They come from the long war between flesh and climate. Ancient people learned that the body is not cooled by exposure alone. It is cooled by flow. Air must flow. Sweat must evaporate. Sunlight must be blocked. Heat must escape. If one part fails, the body suffers. If all parts work together, clothing becomes a tool, a wearable microclimate, a portable patch of shade, a silent machine with no battery, no fuel, no wires, no moving parts except your own body. That is why the ancient fabric was cooler than being naked. Not because fabric is magic, but because naked skin is not always protected skin. Naked skin is vulnerable. It receives the sun directly. It loses water quickly. It burns. It tires. It begs the body for more sweat. Smart fabric does something different. It stands between the human and the sky. It catches the light. It lets air pass. It carries moisture outward. It turns movement into ventilation. It gives the body time, and time is survival. Imagine two ancient travelers crossing open desert. One believes less is better. He strips down. At first he feels free. Wind touches him. Sweat flashes off his skin. But the sun is now striking him everywhere. His shoulders burn. His neck burns. His water drains away. By midday, his steps shorten. His mind dulls. He is cooling himself by spending his body's water too fast. The second traveler is covered in loose, breathable cloth. At first he looks hotter. He looks burdened. He looks wrong. But under the cloth, air moves. His skin is shaded. His sweat evaporates more slowly and usefully. His robe breathes as he walks. The sun attacks the fabric first. By midday, he is still moving. The answer was never just clothing. The answer was clothing designed around the physics of survival. This is the part we forget when we call ancient people primitive. They did not have modern instruments, but they had observation. They had consequences. They had generations of memory. A mother knew what kept a child from fainting. A worker knew what fabric let him finish the day. A traveler knew what shape survived the road. A community remembered what worked. Over centuries, bad ideas died. Good ideas stayed. That is a brutal kind of science. Science written in sweat. Science edited by heat stroke. Science preserved in cloth. And now, as the world heats up, the old lesson returns. The future may not always look high-tech. Sometimes survival moves backward to move forward, not backward in intelligence, backward in humility, back to materials that breathe, back to designs that respect airflow, back to clothing that understands the body, back to the idea that comfort is not the same as survival, because heat is not just weather. Heat is pressure. It changes behavior. It changes work. It changes cities. It changes who can move and who must hide. For ancient humans, heat shaped the day. People worked early, rested at noon, moved with shade, chose fabric carefully, covered their heads, protected their skin. They treated the sun as a force to negotiate with. Modern life teaches us to ignore it until the machines stop. Then the ancient world reaches forward. It asks a simple question. Do you know how to survive without power? Do you know how your own sweat works? Do you know why loose cloth can save you? Do you know why the smartest person in the desert may not be the most exposed one? The ancient fabric cooler than being naked is not just a curiosity. It is a warning. Our ancestors survived because they listened to the body and the land. They learned that the sun can be fought with shade, that heat can be moved with air, that sweat can be turned into cooling, that fabric can become shelter, and that wearing more can sometimes protect you better than wearing less. So the next time the air grows heavy, the next time a heat wave presses against the windows, the next time the power flickers, remember the ancient answer. Do not only ask what is fashionable, ask what creates airflow, ask what blocks the sun, ask what lets sweat escape, ask what gives your body a chance. Because in the end, the coolest person was not the one who wore the least. It was the one who understood the heat.